The story takes place in ancient China, during a time when sons were valued over daughters. Before joining the army, Mulan had been trained in martial arts freely since childhood. Inspired by her father, Huazhou, she showed incredible skill from a young age, but back then, women who trained in combat were looked down upon. As she grew older, Mulan faced an important moment in her life. Her mother called in a matchmaker to arrange a marriage for her, usually carefree. Mulan's expression turned serious. She didn't want this, but she still agreed out of respect in her parents' eyes. A woman only brought honor to the family if she married well. For this matchmaking session, she was bound at the hands and legs, her waist cinched, hair tied up, wearing embroidered shoes and a formal hanfu. Heavy makeup concealed her naturally delicate features. These invisible rules felt like chains, holding her captive. On that same day, the emperor issued a conscription order. Foreign invaders were approaching, and every family had to send one male to serve in Mulan's household. Only the elderly Huazhou threw away his cane and dragged his limping legs forward to accept the decree. As a veteran, his commitment to defending the country had never wavered. But his body could no longer keep up. At the dinner table, Mulan tried to persuade her father not to go, but Huazhou slammed the table and said, "I am your father. I belong on the battlefield." He wanted to bring honor to the family through military service. Watching him storm out, Mulan felt powerless. The night before he left, Huazhou took out a sword that had been gathering dust for years. His hands trembled as he held it. Mulan couldn't hold back her tears anymore after her father fell asleep. Mulan picked up the sword herself and made a decision. She couldn't just stand by and watch her father go to his death, so Mulan decided to take his place in the army. She put on her father's armor, grabbed the sword, mounted her father's horse, Black Wind, and rode off through the night. When Huazhou realized what had happened, it was already too late to stop her. If he reported Mulan, she would be executed. All he could do was pray in the hall, "Please protect my daughter." Mulan rode alone to the army camp. The journey was full of obstacles, but she finally arrived safely. To avoid suspicion as a woman in disguise, she deliberately made herself look dirty and fierce. On her first day reporting in, she got into a fight with another recruit. Luckily, Commander Tung arrived just in time and stopped them, but the real trouble was only beginning. Being a woman in a camp full of men was no easy task. The first time she entered the barracks, she saw soldiers with bare chests everywhere and didn't know where to look. To make things worse, the instructor suddenly ordered everyone to take a bath together. Luckily, someone had to stand guard during the bath. She immediately raised her hand, taking the most exhausting shift, though standing guard was cold and tiring. At least she avoided revealing her identity. At night, Mulan was always the last to go to bed. She quietly loosened her chest bindings, exhaled deeply, and lay down among the men, but she still didn't dare to fully relax. Once, a comrade rolled over on top of her. Mulan instantly protected her chest and pushed him away with an elbow to avoid being discovered. Even sleeping required constant vigilance. She was always the last to sleep, the first to wake. Before dawn, she would secretly tie her chest bindings again and put on her male appearance. Daytime training wasn't any easier. Weapons training wasn't hard for her, but strength and endurance drills against a group of burly men were extremely challenging. Some soldiers even broke down from the pressure. One recruit tried to secretly dump water from his load to make it lighter, but he was caught immediately, expelled from the camp, bringing shame to his family. Another reality was that, with high-intensity training all day and no baths at night, the smell was overwhelming. Even her comrades were affected. For Mulan, it was like public humiliation. Finally, one night, she sneaked off under the cover of darkness to a secluded river. She took off her clothes and stepped into the icy water. For a moment, her pent-up tension finally released, but trouble always comes quickly. A soldier followed her without permission, wanting to bathe together. Mulan's heart skipped a beat. She forced herself to stay calm and told him she wanted to be alone for a while. Fortunately, he read the situation and left her in peace. During one training session, Mulan had intended to continue hiding her skills, but this opponent was clearly stronger, and she couldn't hold back. Using her full abilities, the other recruits were stunned. For the first time, they realized that Huazhou was not someone ordinary, but this also caught Commander Tung's attention. He called her aside and asked, "Why have you been hiding yourself?" Commander Tung told her that he had fought alongside her father, Hua Zhou. He could see that Mulan's true abilities went far beyond what she was showing. The commander said bluntly, "Stop holding back. Fight with everything you've got." Encouraged by his words, Mulan finally let go of her restraint. She decided to fully embrace her identity as Hua Jun. From that day on, Mulan's skills improved rapidly. Her movements became sharper. Soon, urgent news came from the frontier. The recruits were ordered to the front lines to confront the Ruran army. Soon after, they reached the front lines. Bori Khan, the Ruran leader, intended to charge straight ahead, but faced with a hail of arrows, he chose to retreat. Commander Tung immediately ordered Mulan to lead a pursuit. But during the chase, the battle took a turn for the worse. Her comrades fell one by one. Some died in combat, others scattered in panic. Eventually, only Mulan remained. Chasing into a valley, suddenly, a giant eagle swooped down from the sky, knocking her off her horse through the fog. The eagle transformed into a woman. She was Jinying, an ally of Bori Khan. Mulan immediately got up, drawing her sword, ready to fight. Jinying instantly saw through her disguise. The next second, a throwing dart struck Mulan's chest armor. Looking down, she saw the armor pierced. The dart lodged in her chest bindings. This strike seemed to demand that she face her true self. She finally understood. To truly unleash her power, she must shed her disguise. Mulan removed her armor, let her hair down, and chose to fight as her true self. She rode back into battle. Reborn, a soldier threw a spear at her. Mulan bent, caught the spear, and kicked it back toward the enemy's chest. Then she dismounted, grabbing a spear, and faced the enemy head-on. This was Mulan's most spectacular and intense combat sequence. The enemy soldiers shouted in panic, "The witch is here!" and began to flee in the distance. Jinying transformed back into the giant eagle. Rushing toward the battlefield, she split into countless crows. Attacking the army formation, Commander Tung immediately ordered, "Form up! Defend!" The crows were stopped, but the troops became exposed targets. At that moment, Ruran's catapults launched. Boulders rained down like deadly hail, shattering the formation instantly. Mulan saw this from afar, her heart racing. She looked toward the mountains behind the enemy, an idea forming in her mind. Without hesitation, she rode toward the mountains.